the only place for everything Vikings. 6, 1, 2, Vikings.
Welcome back to the 612 Vikings podcast. As you guys can see right off the bat, we're kind of in a different setup right now. I'm kind of on the road right now, and I am here, Dustin, with Drew, and then alongside Nick or Grizzy. He is on TikTok as well as Grizzy Shoe. Grizzy, if you want to introduce yourself to everybody that doesn't know you.
I am Grizzy, big-time Minnesota Vikings fan, not a 49ers fan, as some people, I don't know which way I got to point, some people would like to say that I'm a big 49ers fan. I am not. Big Vikings fan. I got to be here on the 612 Vikings podcast. You can also catch me on TikTok, Grizzy Shoe, if you like wrestling content. And, yeah, I know come football time, me and Dustin will be firing back up the best bets if Jaden doesn't replace us. But, yeah, I'm glad to be here back on the 612. I'm hoping I can get my act put together and put on a good show for you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, how was everybody's 4th of July yesterday?
It was good.
That's good.
Yeah, my 4th of July was great. I had a couple hot dogs, burger, some potato salad. Yeah, it was a good 4th of July. The fireworks were a little scary.
Awesome. Well, we'll get right into it then. And today's topic, we're just going to have one topic today, and we're just going to talk about what will it take for the Minnesota Vikings to make the playoffs? Because I think across most of the sports books, they're not, a betting favorite to make the playoffs as they are right now. And I don't know about me personally, I think that the Vikings have a pretty good roster to at least contend for the playoffs. A lot of you come in my TikTok lives and ask me, hey, Vikings record prediction. I always say they'll probably hover around 8 wins or so, 8 or 9 wins. And I think that will probably be enough for the Vikings to make the playoffs. But just curious on what Drew and Nick think for, what the requirements are, for the Vikings to make it. We'll start with Drew here.
Yeah, so unless you're winning your division with 8 wins, the only way you're going to make the playoffs as a wild card team will be 9 wins. We haven't had an 8-win wild card team yet, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So I would say 9 is the absolute benchmark for them to make the playoffs. And if by how they would need to get there, that's going to be a whole other topic. But 9 wins is I think it has to be the benchmark no matter what. And then just beating those teams that could also be in that same tier as you, that's what I would say. Is again 9 wins. 9 wins get you in. So 9 win in. So
okay, Nick, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you can get the 9 wins, you're definitely on that borderline of teams that are going to get in. Obviously, the NFC is not as stacked as the AFC is, which is nice for us. But to get into the playoffs, you're definitely going to want a good season from either if it's Nick Mullins or J.J. McCarthy. Justin Jefferson, I'm sure he'll have a great season if he can. Who did I say? I said J.J. McCarthy.
Nick Mullins.
Oh, I meant J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold. As long as Sam Darnold's not going to be seeing ghosts and he can actually see some good receivers. The Vikings obviously having one of the better offenses in the league. Hopefully he can hook up with some of those good receivers. Especially, you got Aaron Jones from the Packers too. You don't have to always pass it. You can run the ball too. And yeah, I think the Vikings, they could hover around that playoff spot, or they can do what all the Packers fans are saying we're going to do and just go 3-14. I mean, Dustin, you're vacationing right now around a bunch of Packers fans, so sucks for you to have to wear that hat. But they know we got Aaron Jones.
Yeah, you got to stick it right to them.
It should be a fun season for the Vikings. I'm excited to see what this defense can do. Sorry, I don't know why I'm stuttering. I'm excited to see what this defense can do with Dallas Turner and the man I didn't even know, Van Ginkel. Didn't even know he was a free agent. And then Jonathan Grenard, not Greenard, as some people would say. It's Grenard. Excited to see what he can do with this 3 really good edge trio, not duo. Yeah, it'll be a fun Vikings team to watch. And then we got Neville Papperman at kicker.
Yeah, that is true. I think offense, will be pretty good. We'll probably see, the best of Nick Mullins last year. I think will probably be the ceiling of what Sam Darnold might do this year with this Vikings offense. And then, just defensively, like Nick was saying, with the trio of Dallas Turner, Van Ginkel, and Grenard, that's going to be a really good trio of edge rushers with, just replacing Danielle Hunter. Just one guy when you have three other guys to rush the passer. So I think this defense will be. I think they'll definitely take a step up in that Brian Flores defense as well. And like, what were they hovering around last year? What, like a top 10 defense, top 10 to 12 defense, something like that?
I believe they were. I think they were 12th in scoring last year.
Yeah, 12th in scoring. So, that's pretty good. We were kind of expecting a lot or I don't know. Were we expecting a lot? I don't know. From Brian Flores, just from that Ed Donatel defense a couple of years back. So, I think this defense can only go up from here, and we'll see how it all goes. It has to all mesh together. It's going to be a rough couple games to start, with the Giants, who knows how they'll be this year. I'm guessing not that great. Then you have, the Texans, you have Packers in there. The Jets might be, a little tougher this year with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, if he, stays healthy. So get a couple other tough opponents in there the first half of the season, and we'll just see how everything gets put together. But what's kind of the offense looking like, or what do you expect the offense to look like, Drew, from the Vikings?
I would say they're probably, we did our previous episode on picking up Cam Akers. It's still yet to happen officially, but rumors definitely out there. But I think if they can get that done sooner rather than later, I think this would be a team that's going to be focused more on run line, which is why we're kind of seeing this Dalton Reisner kind of camp with Blake Randall, for the fact that Blake Randall a little bit more run along to kind of help out the run game a little bit on the the pass block aspect of it. So I think this team on offensively will definitely be more predicated on the run game by picking up a guy like Aaron Jones and all those other big guys who are primed for a big year too when those increased role from last year.
Yeah, for sure. And, that all has to mesh well. I think the big emphasis oh my gosh, I can't even talk. Emphasis this year for the Vikings offense will probably be that run game, especially with Aaron Jones, one of the better running backs in the league. I think they're going to rely on that run game to set up the pass. It's just going to have to work that way because you have one of the best, duo of wide receivers. If you want to add in Hawkinson in there as well, once he comes back from injury, it's going to be a really good passing offense for sure. And that's going to have to marry with the defense as well. The defense is going to have to play great. Nick, what do you expect from the Vikings defense this year to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I was obviously, a big thing going into this next year. We could really use another corner. Obviously, we picked up Shaq Griffin. Drew was saying, possibly next season we could pick up an AJ Terrell type guy. And I've just kind of been waiting because we have not had that solid corner since we had Xavier Rhodes. Obviously, Xavier Rhodes old now and on the Cowboys or something. But I'm still waiting for that guy just to come in and really just lock down. Where's our Sauce Gardner? No, that guy's a fraud. I was going to say Jair, but he's a fraud. Where's our number one? Where's our Trayvon Diggs? Like, where's our number one guy? I mean, we haven't had that since Gilmore. Obviously, we get the job done. Obviously, we had a guy like Duke Shelley who might have not been the number one cornerback in the league, but he played like it every single week. He played like he wanted to be the number one corner every week. He might have been the heart and soul of that defense. You still got your vet.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know you were going to keep going.
Yeah, I was still going. No, go ahead, Drew.
No, I was going to say, I'm glad you brought up Duke Shelley, too, because I just did some research on him, because he's still a free agent out there for any Viking fans looking to bring back that little Duke Shelley magic from 2022. He has only allowed 2 touchdowns, I believe, in like the last 4 or 5 years of starting. And just for reference, I know how Nick was saying that Jair is a fraud. So in the same snaps that Duke Shelley has played as Jair Alexander has from last year, they've both given up the same amount of touchdown passes. And for Duke Shelley, it's been over a span of like 4 years or 5 years. And I feel like he's a very, he maybe not be the lockdown corner, but like Nick was saying, but it can definitely get you those nice and efficient, corner downs on those passing downs that you need.
And for being a smaller guy too, what is he, like 5'9", 5'10", something like that? Mm-hmm. So being a smaller guy, you wouldn't think that he's like a boundary guy, but he does his job against the Packers. In 2022 when he basically kind of locked down Watson. In that one pass in the end zone. Watson is what 6'5". Duke Shelley's 5'9". That doesn't you don't see that every day. So I think corner play is definitely going to have to improve for this next year. And then I think to add on to that as well is we're going to need that guy in the middle of the defense as well for defensive line. We don't need I mean, every team needs an Aaron Donald, but we need someone that is aggressive in the middle. Harrison Phillips is fine, but we need he's not at that great level. That's someone that we need. Hopefully, Jaquelin Roy can step up and be that guy. But I think as of right now on this current Minnesota Vikings roster, I don't see anybody being that guy as of right now. So
yeah, obviously, Christian Wilkins was a name I looked at a lot during free agency. Hell of a player. He's a great defensive tackle. Obviously, we got next year's draft to look forward to. I know Drew was telling me there's a very good defensive lineman coming out of next year's draft. Obviously, there's
Mason
a couple
Graham.
good corners. There's a couple good corners coming out of next year's draft too. I think I agree with you, Dustin. I do agree with you, Dustin. We do need corners and we need that defensive tackle. I feel like that's our biggest needs right now.
Well, I know there's something too that the Vikings are kind of eyeing up a lot of the bigger free agent defensive tackles for this next year. Guys like Kenny Clark. I wouldn't be opposed to adding him to this Vikings defense. I think he definitely is a dog. One of the top echelon defensive tackles in this league. I know there's a couple other guys too. I don't remember everybody that they named, but Kenny Clark was definitely one of those guys that I think the Vikings should take a big swing for. If the Packers don't end up re-signing him. So yeah, I think corner and defensive tackle are definitely those two positions that would need to step up. So
and Drew was telling me that AJ Terrell is supposed to be a free agent. That's a player I would love the Vikings to grab. He's still young. And then, with the whole Kenny Clark thing, Packers players love coming to the Vikings. It's not really Vikings players going to the Packers. It's Packers players coming to the Vikings. And what do they always say when they get here? They look better in purple. Just saying.
Exactly. Just like what Robert Tonyan said, he looks better in purple. So
Aaron Jones seems to be loving it in Minnesota so far. But it's not wintertime yet.
Exactly. No, Minnesota winters, they can be brutal. But no, I'll kind of split up this last question for you guys here. We'll kind of talk about the special teams. Drew, I'll kind of give you the kicker position because I know you love Will Riker. And then Nick, I'll have you talk about Ryan Wright and then maybe Seth Vernon. I know you don't know too much about Seth Vernon, but just kind of what you know from Ryan Wright. So, Nick, we'll start with you with the punter position.
Yeah, when you're talking about the punter position, Ryan Wright is a great punter. I think Ryan Wright is a really good punter. Obviously, you were telling me Sean Vernon, is that his name? Seth Vernon. He's they're gonna have a little punter battle. I know you were telling me the other day when we were playing Madden. You were like, Seth Vernon, could be taking Ryan Wright's spot, and I was like, who's that? This is a real who's that, not saying the whole Van Ginkel thing, because I know who Van Ginkel is. I just didn't know he was a free agent, but I did not know who Seth Vernon is. Drew, I want to ask one of you, though. I'm guessing he's an undrafted free agent?
Yeah. This is his second year in the league.
Okay,
he was UDFA.
Falcons.
Yeah, he was signed as
was he
UDFA
signed?
from Atlanta. Yeah, UDFA
And
from
then
the Falcons.
Okay, so I obviously don't know much about him. I don't really keep up with the special teams positions, but I do love Ryan Wright. I know he's been a good punter for us. But if the Seth Vernon can come out and outplay him, punter is a very important position because you're in those. You want to pin your opponents deep. Just the same with the kicker. You got to make the field goals. You got to kick off the ball. So special teams, special players. What's up, brother?
All right, Drew. What do you think about the kicker position or kicker battle, maybe?
Yeah, I know there's a quote unquote kicker battle, but it's not really much of a battle. John Parker Romo is just there to kind of bring some sort of competition just in case Will Riker's a disaster, and it sounds like it's not. It's sounding it's getting more to the direction of that he's going to be that kicker the Vikings have always been looking for based on the reports we've been kind of getting from the little leaks every now and then. But Will Reichert, he's a guy I knew that was he's going to be a good kicker in this league. He's the all-time scorer in college football history with 540 plus points. So, this is a guy that will be really really good for us. I'm very much looking forward to finally getting some consistent kicking out of this long waited Vikings franchise. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm
looking
hoping,
for our next Gary Anderson.
Yeah, waiting for the Will Reichert to break that kicker curse for the Vikings. I'm hoping it happens. Not another Daniel Carlson where he's cut, the second week into the season. So I don't foresee that happening, but if it happens, it happens. We're pretty much used to it as Vikings fans. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. You guys just kind of wanted to spitball a little bit, about the Vikings roster, what it will take for them to make the playoffs. And yeah, just because, we're not in our home locations right now, me and Drew at least. So yeah, just wanted to keep it short and sweet for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you guys leave a like, comment down below, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are on YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, 612 Vikings, and over on Twitter at 612 Vikings. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Skol Vikes.